Greetings and welcome to our third annual Missions Week. What you're about to see is a video compilation of the different organizations that will be assisting this particular Missions Week. And I want you to know that as you give your gifts to this Missions Week, that you are putting them into God's hands and God is about to multiply them and with you do incredible things. So thank you in advance and enjoy the video.
Graceway is a 501c3 nonprofit, faith-based, long-term recovery community for women right here in Albany, down the street. We're the neighbors down at 412 West 5th Avenue. So we're right in the shadow of the steeples of First Presbyterian and other churches and downtown businesses.
I'm an alcoholic and I'm an addict. I'm a hardcore drug addict. My drug of choice are opiates and alcohol, but pretty much I did anything I could get my hands on. Before I came to Graceway, my story, it's very sad. You know, I had 2 children that passed away, and so as soon as that happened, I started taking opiates to numb the pain, and drinking was a constant throughout my life. And then after that, my husband hung himself, and so I walked into the room, and I found him. So after that, I felt like there was no way out. You know, I drank to make all of the pain go away. I never dealt with anything. We got in touch with Graceway, and they opened their doors to me. And the hardest part was just getting there. But the best part was listening to hearing another person on the other line that was a drug addict. Because the thing is I have been to psychiatrists and I have been to therapists to try to do all of this. And they are great and they are wonderful, but I needed someone to look at me and go, it's going to be okay. You know, I've been on the other side. I've been through this. It does work. And that's exactly what Graceway did. And when I walked through the doors of Graceway, there is a very soothing and spiritual experience at the moment you walk through the door. The biggest thing was the one-on-one intensive counseling. The groups, we have 4 to 5 groups a day, but the intense counseling, and we're talking about counselors and therapists that are there one-on-one for an hour, and you know how much that costs, and they're there 24/7. Our goal is to not only to get you physically and emotionally and spiritually, you know, set, but it's also to get off welfare, to stop sucking society, to take responsibility. And we are very powerful people, and we're very, very smart. And once we can prove that to ourselves, then we are unstoppable. I am unstoppable today. There is no doubt that if I want it, I will have it. And it's just a choice that I make today. And today I choose to be unstoppable instead of choosing, because if I can go out and get my drugs the way that I did, I can absolutely get my life back.
I was just about at my wit's end. Didn't know where to go, where to turn. And somebody kept telling me about a place you could wash your clothes. Well, that's eventually how I wound up there. Mark was still the pastor there. And once I got in there, you know, if nothing else, it was a haven, a refuge, if you will, just some place to go and congregate and fellowship. Then I realized of the resource committee. I had no idea that they convened and just what they did. So I eventually signed up for those, for the Tuesday and Friday resource committee meetings, and got to meet certain individuals like Harold, Don, Bobby, and the like, and well, they were able to help us by, well, first they gave us a sleeping bag, me and Robert, and a tent. You know, pretty soon we were able to get an ice chest and a couple of chairs, and then we had a radio, and well, it wasn't long for I said, well, hey, let's plant us a garden out there, you know, why not? Had us a shovel, so we had to go out there and hand till that garden up. Well, you know, they were helpful to us as far as getting seed and fertilizer and such, things that we really they saw we were trying to help ourselves, you know, and not just rely on charitable organizations. But they did help us more than I could ever repay. If nothing else, they lifted us up, lifted our spirits. Getting your clothes washed and a little decent meal here and there was fine, but well, I'd like to think that I became friends with Harold and Don and Bobby and Cindy, and I am. Thank God for that. I didn't have any friends, no family. It was just a blessing, the things that they done for me personally, for me and Robert. Everything that I've accumulated now, which ain't much, I can certainly give praise to God for. And they used the Place for Hope and these fine people that are members of the resource committee as a conduit to reach me. I remember Rich Rowe telling me, he said, well, I don't know if you're going to plan on living here forever like that. I said, hold it right there. No, I ain't planning on living here forever. You know, I got aspirations. I don't know what they are yet, but I have no idea where I'm going. But of course, I'd like to have a normal lifestyle like everybody else. Be able to have my own place and park my little camper in the back there, and you know, hopefully find a better job. And I kind of look forward to, and I've joked about this on occasion, about going down to the Hope and being you know, helping out instead of being part of it. And I would like to do that. You know, I've been there, so I think I can really relate to somebody that needs some help, certain things. Well, there's no doubt that there is a misperception of the homeless. A lot of places we would go, you know, is get back, he's homeless, you know, don't get him on you. And that was just the wrong way to look at it. I've had people throw things at me on the side of the road, holler obscenities. They don't even know me. The Bible speaks that you need to be careful how you entertain strangers, how you treat them, because you may be entertaining an angel. And I think that's the way we need to treat everybody and each other.
Beerbold Coffee is a new church development of the Presbyterian Church USA and a project of Flint River Presbytery. We're here to be a new way of being church and community in the world. We operate 7 days a week as a full-service coffee shop with coffee and lunch and desserts and pastries, but we also are a landing spot and a place of hospitality, a gathering place for our community for knitting groups, running clubs, Bible studies, book groups, artist workshops, writers workshops, reading opportunities, and live music. Little Lights is one of our ways of getting outside of our coffee shop community and meeting and getting to know, building relationships with our neighbors. We began back in September of this year spending Wednesday afternoons with a group of 4-year-olds in a low-income child care center. We read children's books with them every week and pair those pieces of children's literature with stories from Scripture so that we can begin to have conversations with children in our community about books and about God's work in the world. So through donations from this community, we purchase a new children's book every month for the 12 children in this class. And at the end of the year, we will send them away with a new Bible, a children's Bible, and a backpack filled with brand new school supplies as these children begin their kindergarten careers.
We start by selecting a book, and then we take the book there, and we will read the book every week for a month. And then the last Wednesday of the month, they actually get a copy of that book. So by then they know the story so well that they're technically reading it with us. They can follow along in the pages and they can tell their story, so that when they take the books home whoever's in their family, they're also reading the book too.
Well, the most amazing thing to me has been the necklace, because the money for the necklace went to help buy books for them. So it's been awesome when I go there and they all want to touch it and they'll tell me that they like it, and that's really cool because they don't know that the money even went for them.
We have a couple different aspects of our ministry. One is the lunch ministry, which is really mostly an outreach, and that's twice a week. We have free lunch from 11 to 2, and that's open to any students at no cost. And we have about 50 to 70 kids coming to that. And then the other part is more of a discipleship aspect. So we have Bible studies, and then retreats a couple times a year, and various activities, some service projects, and those are more of kind of a bridge activity, because we'll get some kids that wouldn't come to Bible study, but they'll come with us to serve somewhere. So those are sort of, I guess, more like 3 components that we have. A lot of the students tell us that they live lives full of stress and exhaustion, and a lot of them come very tired. And this is a space that's outside of their regular academic time, and they feel like they can kind of come in and put down some of that stress and anxiety and pressure and just relax. And it sort of feels, they call it home away from home.
Well, what we do here at the Anchorage is we provide a Christian ministry to adult men who are dealing with alcoholism and drug addiction, and who desire to learn to live free of those powers in their lives. We house 56 men. That's our capacity, and we pretty much stay at capacity. We may have a bed empty here and there while we're waiting on the next person to come in, but we stay at pretty much at capacity of 56 men. We provide free of charge to the men 4 months of our program, our ministry. For 4 months, they're here without charge. We do have a small administrative processing fee for admission, and that helps us to recoup the cost of a life recovery Bible that we provide them, the Alcoholics Anonymous Big Book, and some other materials that we use, as well as a background check. We're surrounded in a neighborhood here, so we do background checks. We make sure we don't house dangerous folks and that kind of thing. It costs us $26,056 a month to operate the Anchorage. That was last year's exact cost figures. We are able to do that because of generous and loyal supporters and donors, such as First Presbyterian. And First Presbyterian, I went back a couple of years, and in 2000, from 2010 through December 31st of 2012, First Presbyterian has given $12,022 to the Anchorage, and that's a significant amount to come from one donor organization.
We were asked to come be part of the Place for Hope, and we work out of the Place for Hope on Tuesdays and Friday. There's 2 teams of strictly volunteers, and everybody is HIPAA trained, so they can work with the information that's given by the individuals. But what we do is we've made contact with job avenues, with Albany Technical College, all sorts of places, and then out of this has formed what they call the Albany Coalition, or collaborative, excuse me, it's collaborative, and it's all the agencies, 11th Avenue, ARC, and such places as that we refer our homeless people to. Now, we help with everything from maybe getting them a night at the Salvation Army, which they're only allowed 14 nights free, and then they have to pay $5 a night after that. But all the way up to ID cards, driver's license, job referrals, such things that would help to create a productive individual.